Get hit with the hammer.
Yeah.
That'll help it.
Not sure what to tell. Try.
Make it not work. Right. We're gonna call the July 23rd, 2024 city council meeting to order. Remind everybody to silence your cell phones. I'll lead us in opening prayer. Thank you, ma'am.
Bow for prayer, please. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for your love and watch care over us and your provision and protection. We ask you to be with us tonight as we deliberate decisions that affect citizens of Perry. Help us to make the best decision for all. In Christ's name I pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilmember O'Brien.
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton. Councilmember Woodhull. Here. Councilmember Wade.
Okay.
Here.
Mayor Catherine.
Here. Approval of items on the consent agenda. We don't have any. We're gonna receive requests from the general public. The council welcomes you to this meeting. This time is set aside for our citizens and the general public to address the council on any matter that's not included on the agenda. It's not a question and answer time, nor is it a political forum, nor is it a time for personal accusations or derogatory remarks. If you would like to address the council for something that's not on the agenda, please come to the podium and speaking to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Was the amplifier on? Okay.
Yeah, you probably need to have the mics close to you.
Well. Anyway, state your name and address for the record. Please also limit your comments to not more than 5 minutes for individuals and 10 minutes for groups or delegations. Do we have anyone here that wants to speak on something that's not on the agenda? Hearing nothing, we're gonna move on to item 5, which is bids. Any bids that are to be opened,
Yes,
we've done during this time.
right. This is to replace the storage shed that Adelia destroyed over at the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm reading this before the opening of sealed bids like I always do. Currently, I'm opening the sealed bid for the Boys and Girls Club storage shed outbuildings. I will only be reading out the vendor and the amount of the bid. There will be no discussion at this time about any bids that's being opened. These bids will be given back to the purchasing agent and then to the department which the sealed bid is for. The city reserves the right to reject any and all bids. The city reserves the right to select the bidder, waive any informalities, or to accept the bid deemed to be in the best interest of the city. Any errors, bid submissions are the responsibility of the bidder. First one I'm opening is for Queens Building. And the replacement building comes in at $7,362.90. And the other one that I'm opening is from Ultra Management Group. Price just yet. Their quote comes in at $9,640.29.
You have the name of the first one again, please.
Keens.
K-E-E-N. Yes.
That's one across the board place, right? All right, and we don't have any staff recommendations of any previous bids.
Everything else had please been under the amount.
It's good. Very good, thank you. General business, agenda item 6A. Council to discuss the sale of parcel ID number 05497 0 or -500. Take any action may necessary. Got that same one from last week, last meeting.
Billy Roth is here. He's the one that is wanting to purchase the, portion of it. He's back there, him and the guy that you won't say Billy or, he's here though.
Okay.
I guess. Don't need to decide if y'all want to sell it and how much. But he's only wanting that little section there. Like. Oh, that's fine. Yep.
Well, like, not the whole piece, just cut off right there at your property line, is that?
Mhm.
I wouldn't be in favor of myself. Just that piece. Don't leave you the rest of it to do something with.
Still maintain.
Pardon?
Was that the railroad next to it, or it ends with the railroad? That, yeah. Is there any, utilities under it or anything?
No,
We don't want about the whole thing, just the,
How much is it?
If we do that though, politics will have to notify all those other property owners.
Yeah.
that's, I'm just saying, I'd be interested in, breaking it up amongst yourself.
You would then involve whoever 498 Oklahoma is. I would say. Well, that's the church.
Mhm.
Let me, go ahead and jump in this fire. Look down that road. If you look down that road, I'll be darned, there's a building in the middle of it. That must be a church.
That map is accurate, that is true.
That is.
so what are you saying, Bill?
Pardon?
What are
So
you
what
saying?
saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying you got bigger problems than the church doesn't own that, they just built on it.
They built on it?
Yeah,
See the church.
this has come
Yes.
before us a while back.
What, I would suggest be done is work with, well, it's at the church.
So you motion to go through proper procedure to get this stuff.
All of them,
There you go.
yeah. And you're not gonna be able to because the church is already there.
Well, if you give them the option about what they wanna buy and can you do it that way?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, break it up.
That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
Let's break it up amongst everybody along there.
Right.
About that,
Okay.
Just, I guess we have to notify those other property owners to see what their interest is.
The
And
letter.
Okay.
this,
If they're not interested though, then.
you know how much the whole thing is, and I just don't. Well, you can't get the whole thing.
No. The church is already built on part of it.
If it's buy it all, just buy it all and donate the part to the church.
He's talking about buying this part he wants and then donate the rest of this to the church.
Yeah.
You have to see if
That would be the
Well,
ideal.
let's see, can we do
And
that?
I can talk to him and see.
Okay.
Just do all the dates at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm okay with that either way.
Yes.
As long as the church gets, as long as they get the property they've already sitting on. that's-
Mhm.
They may sell you the church now.
I may burn out if I go in that way.
I think that's what you want to know right now, and we'll just start moving forward.
Mhm.
Thank you,
By the policy, you'd be responsible for all survey and
that's fine.
costs.
Will it be split between?
Yeah, however they work it out.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah.
If he's gonna buy the whole thing, then they can work it out however they want to, I guess. As long as the church don't get,
Yeah, I'll get over the church.
okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Agenda item 6B, council to discuss the sale of parcel ID 03133-510, take any action deemed necessary.
That's the one that, both property owners were interested in. I'm not sure if Mr. James is here. See, okay.
Oh, behind the Christmas.
That's the one that, Jason Campbell and Christopher James is willing. They're both interested, so therefore, one would get half, the other would get half.
Okay.
Only by the curve, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
It's a small part, and there's nothing on it, is there, city wise?
Got no problem. You'll see.
I don't either, just split it in half and everybody gets a half.
Well, that's our price.
He goes,
What's the property appraiser say it's worth?
So, 20 bucks.
$700.
It's usually like 80% of our value.
I think standing alone ain't really worth that much because of the size of it. Unless it's got something that we need, but don't sound like we do. City's had it since the beginning of time, it looks like.
Danielle, did you say there are no utilities
no,
there?
ma'am.
We want to move forward with it or?
Yep, so they do what they need to do.
Okay.
I'll pay my half, or I'll pay for whatever. I'll pay for the whole thing. If he wants half, I'll pay half, whatever you want to do. So we'll split it. Once you pay
Y'all gonna split it east, west or north, south?
Probably north, south, just to make it difficult. We really want it back.
That'll work. All right. Everybody,
Okay, I'll go.
what do you need, this consensus?
Yes, the price where we're gonna sell it to. They gotta get the survey done, and all that. Unless y'all wanna make it get a real appraisal, and sell it for half of that, but I'm just gonna put a number here, make it a whole lot easier. It ain't much value to it.
Mhm.
Price will probably cost more.
Mhm.
Yeah, it ain't worth that for good. And you still gotta, any land sale the city doesn't have to be passed by ordinance, so you get 2 more times to talk about it.
Let them work it out.
Yeah, like I said, it's not, as it said, how wide is it? Ain't, what, 20 foot wide or something,
I think it's 30 foot.
30?
I think so, yes, sir.
Means you could build maybe a 10 foot wide building.
We don't wanna build anything.
Well, I'm saying, standing alone by itself, you could build some little old, hardly anything on it. I mean, it's with the setbacks.
We get feedback on this. We're getting feedback on this sound. It's ringing a little bit.
Anyway, just need a consensus to move forward, or do we need to vote on it, or?
Well, however, don't we got a policy ordinance? So that's how we do it.
You'll need to agree on the price.
Yeah, you gotta come up with a price, and so it's gotta be,
Well, we've already got a, precedent.
Policy
on
says,
other property.
policy says at a minimum of the property appraiser's price.
And it's got to be surveyed and
They,
court
they,
documents and all that.
all costs of the land transfer will be on them.
Okay, that's on them.
Those split those.
So far, what we need, we just need to come up with price.
Yeah. Then we'll come back with an ordinance.
Right.
Outlining that right. It's worthless to us. I'd say 350 each. Put it down there.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. I was thinking, Denny.
So,
You have a fault.
thousand,
That's what I was thinking, but
1,000 each, 500.
No,
no,
500 each.
no, 5 each.
And how much was it appraised at?
700, but they're all over the actual value.
So why are we going to 1,000?
Because your ordinance says you can only do it for tax, minimum tax value. Minimum of tax.
And do I just need to take Danielle a check for 350 and then get the survey? Or do we have to have a closing with the title insurance?
It's gotta be read off twice.
well, yeah, it's gonna be a month before we can do anything anyway, or over a month. We gotta have two readings of it, do an ordinance, and then, like I said, a survey, and I guess in the meantime, you get a survey and split it.
The attorney.
This have to go there and that have to go to the chair, you know.
You let me know what I'm.
I'll let you know, but
All right.
the attorney will handle it all for us.
Okay, great.
Your closing costs are gonna be more than the property's gonna
I
cost.
understand.
That's,
Think
Whatever you can do to help the city.
You don't have to do a title search, you can get it.
true. All right, y'all can. All right, we'll go ahead and go with 700 then, and like I said, it'll advertise at the first reading, be at the next meeting, and the meeting after, so we're talking,
Watch for the board need to do the survey, right, figure it out. You got it, either ordinance passed or they do the survey.
or they do it simultaneously.
They do all of it.
I think you have to get a survey.
I would think you have to.
Because the ordinances talk about the survey, so I would think the survey.
All of that add-ins.
Then once the survey happens, y'all can do whatever you want afterwards, attach them to each parent parcel or whatever.
Right.
But, we gotta do a survey just on that piece to sell it.
So we can arrange for the survey now. Like tomorrow, I can call them in and tell them, go make the survey, or you have to do the survey.
It's on him.
Yeah, y'all just pick somebody and I guess go with it.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank y'all. All right, agenda item 6C. Council discuss work order for engineering of 12 water main replacements funded by RIF and take any actions deemed necessary. This basically gonna start the engineering on it.
Roll that infrastructure fund grant, we want to 4.7 million. Just to get the engineering started. Once we start putting engineering money. You have to go moving. Especially grant money.
Motion to sign work order.
Second,
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lansing?
yes,
Mayor Ketchum?
Yes. Agenda item 6D, Council to discuss draft ordinance replacing cameras in the school zones for speed monitoring and take any action deemed necessary.
This is something we've discussed for the last year or more. We were waiting on Department of Transportation to approve the rule. That has been done. The next step is to review this ordinance that you've been provided a copy of. If you're happy, we'll add the location to it, and we'll have two hearings portion of it. We approve it to start moving forward with the project. I believe the attorney has reviewed the ordinance. We're happy with it. We believe it will pass the muster and meet the guidelines of Florida law. So if you're willing to move forward the project, the next council meeting will have the locations that will have the cameras installed at.
Mhm.
And start moving forward.
So is this all back to that program that the young ladies came and told us about? Okay.
Can you change the location?
Yes, you can change locations with a edit of the ordinance. You have to pass no. Yeah,
Okay,
it can't be done based off of the needs. We can do it.
okay,
And then once we get the locations picked and the ordinance passed, we'll start looking for vendors for, the program.
okay.
Now about vendors, you mean, for the cameras.
Yes, ma'am.
That's they pay all the upfront costs and everything. They just.
The whole goal of the program is to feed in the school zone to increase safety for the students while they're walking home. And it's during school hours only, so after hours it would be.
All right.
We'll have to provide some of the signage for it, but we're required under Florida law, any statute anyway, to do signage in school zones.
Meeting.
So it's basically contingent, we'll move forward, we'll bring you back in location at the next meeting with the ordinance for the first public hearing.
I'm in favor.
You need a motion?
I don't need a motion.
Okay, just not now?
And if you're happy with what we got, we'll add the location, we'll bring it back to the first hearing.
Good deal.
Agenda item 6E, council to continue discussions on hiring a lobbyist and take any action deemed necessary.
That guy did give me a proposal.
Yes.
Really hard.
Can't hear you, John.
Guy that was here last week, Mark Anderson, gave me a proposal for $4,000 a month to do the state level services.
Right.
I just wondered if I had more thoughts. Do we do it? We need to go out for RFQs or.
I still don't think it would do us any good. I've asked a number of times and I still have yet to have anyone tell me what small city is using a lobbyist.
Yeah, you got.
I asked also about the competitive negotiation, and that was ignored. I don't have a clue about that. Pardon?
What was that about? Competitive negotiation?
Competitive Negotiation Act, I think it's called. And I have absolutely no clue, but if this falls under that, he's already violated the law. You can't do this, but I don't know, and I wouldn't support one until I knew what that answer was. The county received some amount of money this year, last year. They don't have a lobbyist. Just so happens, and this is the way it works. When there's money available, the county has got first hand in the pot. If there's anything left over, city may get it, but the county always has first.
Well, isn't that because they have to exist and we don't have to exist? Is that the difference?
I don't know, I would just be guessing.
I mean, a political subdivision versus a municipality. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's.
right.
Yeah.
we would, and do both ask for the same money out of the same.
St. Paul.
Yeah.
I thought you said last time that there was a different pot for the city.
No. I wish there was.
Not corporations, there are some grants that are split up with what we would be working on.
Right.
And there are some grants only county can apply for.
True.
So,
Like if it's a water infrastructure grant or something like that, we'd be the only ones really that would apply for it. So,
So you wanna table this until you get your answers, or?
no, I'm not gonna change my mind.
What did you say that he's violating?
I didn't, no, I didn't say you were. I said-
Might be violating. What were you referring to?
That competitive negotiation act,
The what act?
competitive negotiation.
Competitive negotiation.
You wanna, gotta go for a RFP type. You receive those, you go through those. You can't talk money until it's all over. Good luck.
I think he was just going fishing for a,
Right,
Yeah.
ballpark.
right.
Maybe we spend 50,000 a year and they pull several million. Could very well be
The
worth it.
thing I like about it,
Pardon?
the thing I like about it is, I don't think John has the time to chase all this stuff, number one, and find it and apply for it and all. And the number two, once we get it, somebody's got to stay on top of all of the reporting and et cetera that has to go with it.
What I'm saying is it ain't gonna happen.
You're saying what?
The grants aren't gonna happen.
Will these be grants or appropriations?
The fire department just got one.
This is just for appropriations.
What lobbyists do you use?
Myself. Amen.
That was for the grant.
Yeah, that was a grant. It was, and I did use a consulting firm. I didn't do it all by myself.
That's different. Because we're in it for a one-shot deal.
Any consulting firm helped you write the grant or?
They wrote it, I basically sent them the information, anything they asked for. Our finances, stuff like that, and they wrote the grant. And
Okay.
basically, we gonna end up paying them like 5% of the total
Right, and they usually write that in.
for them to write.
Mm-hmm.
For them to write the grant, do all the paperwork.
Right.
They gonna do everything, only thing we got to do is sit back and receive the stuff.
Well, would there be any harm in getting RFQs for a lobbyist? See what happens.
Bill, is your main objection the fact that he didn't show any cities, any small cities?
That's one thing.
Well, I know, but is that the main
Another
thing?
thing is, why is it's a City of Perry's logo on his paper? Who put it there? Who did?
But you can get those logos off the internet and just paste them onto anything.
We may, when we go south, we may run across something down there.
Very well,
Uh,
very well could.
So, John, can you hunt some more?
You want me to do formal RFQs, still go back, talk about it again?
See, and remember, whatever grant we're looking at, so is the county. John's, and I agree with him 100% if it's possible. Want somebody just to work for the City of Perry, that's not gonna happen. We don't have enough money. That's why he works for one particular county and one county alone.
There's some lobbyists that work for several cities, but they're normally spread around. They're not clumped together
Could be,
easily. Hey,
All I know is the one we submitted probably got thrown in the trash can, one of the first ones out. We didn't do it right, we asked for too much, we didn't ask for a pot, and legislative. People were putting money in, which is difficult. We didn't have somebody that knew what they were doing.
John, that's John's fault and Debbie's fault. You don't ask for the same thing that the Board of County Commissioners are asking for. You're not gonna get it, because they were up there first.
I agree.
Anyway, want to table this for a little bit or look, doing RFQs or everybody's pleasure?
Well, you guys are going down to that meeting, what, August?
Middle of August, about a month now, give or take, 3 weeks.
I'm also attending the Florida Municipal Attorneys Association, their annual conference this weekend. So I will inquire as well as especially the smaller cities, what lobbyists do they recommend or have good, you know, if at all, what type of results, what they would suggest. Report back on maybe some comparable types of experiences.
All right,
Thank you.
we'll just circle back around to this later. See about that. Agenda item 6G, council to discuss fire department's grant for wildland gear.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, sorry, unchecked. I checked it off for some reason. Agenda item 6F. Council to review and approve LDR text amendment for allowing livestock animals at the schools.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Petty, and I reside at 378 Myrtle Street, and this is a petition. We demand the city council of Paris, Florida, to reject the request to house animals in our community. We reside in a community with multiple medical issues and do not want to address this issue daily. Furthermore, we assure you that we support our school system and its students and programs, but not the housing of animals in our community. Therefore, we believe there are other areas where this council should house these animals in our school district to satisfy this need and not infringe on our residential community. Thank you for your consideration of this petition. See signatures attachment, and each one of y'all or there should have copies of the signature and the petition.
Did you have somewhere else in mind to house animals?
Oh, yeah,
Where's that?
you got land there behind the alternative school back in there. My daughter-in-law, where they used to live, the school got property back there. You can house it, but out there where we live at, we all have health issues and we all are in our late 70s. I might not look like it, but I am 75 years old.
You don't look like it.
But I have very bad health issues. Plus, I am on a CPAP machine and I have problems sleeping. And with animals moving and peeing, honking and all that, I won't be able to get any rest, and I need rest because I am a diabetic also. And the smell, and you might keep it up a little, but you're not gonna keep it up like it's supposed to be kept. And animals do get out. I don't care how you try to keep them in a fence, they gonna find a way to get out. And then you're gonna have flies, and when it rains, it's gonna smell. We had a problem with the meal smelling. And just think about animals smelling worse than the meal. And my health, I can't take it.
So
My
you,
health is too bad.
so if you're on Myrtle Street, you're speaking specifically about the high school?
Right there, where, you just, the Burns, I live right across the road from him.
Okay,
Where Farrell Primary used to stay.
yes, ma'am.
In Spring Hill Church. That's where I live. And with that smell and me on it, and I can get an excuse for my doctor saying I am on CPAP.
I believe a lot of people are on them. There's a lot of people on CPAP, but you have to bring this kids. I believe you.
And I have problems sleeping at night. I have very bad problems sleeping, even with the machine.
Mayor, if you're finished, I have a lady back here who'd like to speak also. There's a lady here that'd like to speak as well. Thank you.
Here's my daughter, she's part of FFA, we raise cattle. I'm fifth generation cattleman, well, cattle woman. Fourth generation showing cats. I can tell you, the smell don't travel. Not with cattle. I don't know about others. Do you own cats?
You can write your comments.
This way, yeah.
And that, and even if you would allow everyone to have their say without talking over them, so everyone has the same respect.
We don't have a fly problem. We use mineral wick that controls the flies from the inside, which you're allowed to do with show animals. You walk in my backyard, you can't tell I have cows in my backyard. My front yard don't smell. And that's probably like 300 foot from my front yard to my backyard. It's very important for these kids, giving children that opportunity to raise that animal, especially children that don't live outside the city limits, that are not able to do it. I go every year and talk with fifth graders with the agriculture day. Do you know how many children know where hamburgers come from? That's my first question I ask when I give them a demonstration of my cows. Where do hamburgers come from? Grocery store. This is a very important education process. And raising the animals teaches kids respect. It teaches the children responsibility, budgeting. For example, we brought our record book tonight to show you what all goes into a record book. Budgeting.
Can I ask you a question? Just I've heard a little about it, but don't know much about it. What's the difference between what y'all are doing and regular cows, like show cows versus field cows or pasture cows, or?
Okay, show cows.
I don't know the ins and outs of all that, so.
Well, you have your like cracker cows, your wood cows, what you call them, wood cows. People just raise them up, take them to market. What we do is give the opportunity for the kids to raise these cows up, halter them, tame them. Most of the cows will be tamed. Like even in her show heifers, we walk around with show heifers in the yard. We come off her show bull down the road and back. That's how gentle these cows will be. It's not like wild cows out wherever or out even in a field.
I mean, they go out in the field or they stay in stalls or?
They stay in stalls because with like field cows, you're not trying to maintain their weight. With a show cow, you want to maintain their weight and they have more room to roam around, they lose weight. And these are show market animals or market animals, and they'll be on market.
Okay.
That's another thing is you go out in the field 2-3 acres, even that much, they'll lose a significant amount of weight. These are animals that we're trying to fatten up to go to market, become somebody's meal, pretty much. Any other questions on?
I don't know. Any questions?
These cows, we're talking about now, it'll be show cows or regular cows or.
It's show cows. They're going to be halter broke. They're going to be managed daily. Flies shouldn't be a problem because they will be on some kind of fly supplement and fly spray. Mainly on grain. You pick grain and hay, the ones you showed.
Okay,
You don't put them on grass.
gotcha.
It's part of it. It's the only way they gain their weight. Do you want to talk a little bit about what all she has learned over the
Okay.
years? So she's been showing cows since she was 8.
Absolutely, go
What are
ahead.
y'all's names? Oh, I'm Ayla Harris, this is Randy Harris, and we live, 2464 Dean Road.
Okay, thank you.
Pull your mic in.
I started showing when I was 8, and my, my grandpa, he has a herd of cows, so I raise my own cows, I don't have to go and buy cows. I raise them up from base, and then I tame them, I feed them out throughout the year. And then when it comes to February, I take them to Madison, which is where our show and sell is. And I'll show that animal and then sell it, and I use that money to go into my next project. And, every year I do a record book, and you have to keep up with your feed expenses, any expense you take on the shows. I do multiple shows throughout the year, and you have to take note of basically everything. You have to write, I think the minimum is a page or a story of how you raise your animal. And you gotta document your medical home expenses. And when they was born, you gotta know their breed. You gotta know your animal, and
Thank you.
To look at her record book, see, and what goes in it. And it's not gonna be a year-round thing for a show, steer. It's gonna be from October to February, and then during summer, it's gone.
Thank you. I got several people want to talk all at once. Who wants to go first?
I'm on the government, 374 Main Street. Really good presentation. Really like the question, the manager of the building. Good question in the location of those. Now, I'm telling my daughter, go right there, take a picture of it, put it on Facebook. And we're gonna say, if you are in front of your house, call the council. That's all we're saying. We don't want to be out in the community. Now, someone asked, are there other areas in the school district? Yes, I do. It was already over there behind there, I mean, the middle school and the bus shed. It was already there. Go out there behind the new school, Perry Elementary School, and you got a 25-foot buffer zone. Push it in there. Nobody even knows there. Go behind the administrative suite where they play baseball and softball, you know, way back in that corner. Nobody even know it there. But to get up every day, 7 days a week, 365, 366 days a year. And that's what you're looking at. Now, if you want that for our community, why don't you take it to your community? That's all we're saying. Take it to your community. It's so valuable for, you know, they have a beautiful look here. We support the vote. But we don't want it again. Every day. Another part too, is that I've been calling, instead of council, I've been calling zone, vote, and all. I've been getting it running around like this. One person tell you one thing, one person told me, said, don't worry about that because we're not gonna do anything in September. I called earlier, last week, asked about it. Well, we're not gonna do anything on the 23rd. The council has already trained it back to the school. School is going to work out, call the school, they don't know. Now, I said, well.
Sorry, you say the council turned its back on who?
No, it's gonna turn it back over.
Okay. I misheard you.
Maybe that's what you're doing tonight. But I was told that the zone issue and really I'm out of it, it's just an unfair job. But I was told that it can't be within 300 feet of a resident, period. And I went over to Florida Home today, and people don't even know that they just try to put a cattle area, chicken, hog, what's it, in their front door, they don't even know it. I was told before, we voted on that should be a public, announcement for 2 weeks. And some type of public meeting so people know what's going on. So we're getting the impression from the radio that, and I read the newspaper that came out and who's the manager, city manager?
Mr. Hart.
Oh, this is Mr. Hart over here. Okay. Said they were gonna get together and work it out and see what other school districts are doing. Mr. Hart wanted in the school in front of his house.
No.
Seriously. All we're asking as the person praying that we be fair with each other. If I don't want it in front of my house, I don't want to put it in front of someone else's house. Just that simple. Now, some years ago, and I'm just as confused as 1, 2, 3 because we live through this. Out there where we live, people had horses and so forth, and they had to move the livestock out. And then I found out that I'm across the road from the area that we're talking about. But my house is really not covered. The lady told me it depends upon where you live in the zone. And I'm trying to figure out. I can step across the road and go from one zone into another zone.
Mhm.
Well, then how does that zone over here? Where animals over here. Is the area we want to put it. Now, have I mentioned all the places that you can go? Go to the old Perry Elementary School, where Head Start was. Plenty of it. Go over to the high school behind the tennis courts and all that. Plenty of it. Nobody even knows they back there, because the young lady was saying about her tennis going to be. They don't even know about there. But there's no way that the people, all the homes, and Clark Street, and Pinecrest, and Myrtle, we have to just pull by. Right, those stone. So, my concern is, first of all, information is not coming out for, people don't know and talking in circles, so we don't. When we look at the, agenda, what's that, something? What does that mean? Say, tell me what that means.
Land development.
We want to let schools develop the land.
This is the first step in this whole process. If this is approved tonight, it'll take at least 3 more meetings for anything to happen. This is just getting the ball rolling.
What we want to do is stop it before we go into public, because if we don't start with it, we have to go through the school. So let's just stop it here. But believe me now, elderly folk live out there, and I went in the community this afternoon and felt that I know what's going on. Yeah.
So we're-
So why we go so far from the people that what's going on?
Have you been to the
What's
school?
going on with them?
Have you been to the school board yet?
Yeah, because I thought it was everything was being handled here. When the young lady said it was being turned back to the school board and let them work it out or whatever.
It's not actually turned back to them. We still have the last say on it. But we asked them to look at things, and if they can look at alternatives and look at different properties. So maybe you should go there and tell them what you're telling us.
And I was telling my friend here that we're going to go to school. Because, you know, we don't have enough system to understand what you're doing. Because we don't have the regulations. I went on the website and I couldn't find anything to tell me about regulations. So I had to Google it, find out what was going on.
We're trying to work with them to
Why
find.
would we send something back to the school board? And the zone that the school board is located in, the location they want to place is in violation of your zone. So why would you want to do that? Why give them permission? Why pass the buck to them? Just tell them, no, you can't put it there.
They know what their properties are. And they can select a different property. We can make an exception and allow the animals in certain places without changing the zoning.
But that's what we're afraid that you're doing, is that's what's happening.
We were trying to come up with something that worked for everybody. And our initial thought was set the distance of how far an animal could be enclosed to the nearest residence, to an acceptable distance.
If you ride by there are houses, there are many houses within 50 feet of that location.
That's the rule we were gonna propose tonight, not pass. And I'm telling you, whatever this happens tonight, have to go to 3 more meetings, never get passed. There's gonna be a lot more discussion about this if we do decide to do this. But the idea was have it, they'd have to be set back at least 200 feet from the nearest residence.
Mr. Montgomery, he's trying to explain to you what's going on.
I understand that. I'm just want to ask you something. I understand what you're saying. I got that part. Before it wasn't, it was mentioned, not tonight. Let me ask this question here. This is Boulevard. That elementary school sits across the road from that area. How much digging will we try to do to make so down like that? I'm going to do it there, but I'm talking about history and going back to the prayer. We fail with everything. And that's all we're asking. I know for a fact that the school board at one time was sending the shuttle buses down to TTI every hour. So kids who need to take care of animals can be carried over to an area without buses. That shouldn't be a big deal. I just want to give you something to think about and understand that where the anticipated place is Perry Primary, the old Perry Primary School on that concrete slab. That's the basketball court. That's the anticipated place. People live within 15 feet of that area. Not one house, many houses. And if we wanted to, if we love animals and we want to be around animals, go around and get in the area where animals are. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Thank you very much.
I just want to ask a question real quick, if I may speak for a minute. Where is the problem exactly? Is it the old Perry Primary property or where?
Yes.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, where?
There's 2 places, one at the high school, one at the middle school. That's where the animals are kept out, one at the middle school, one at the high school.
For clarity, what was asked in our first meeting 2 meetings ago was the animals, for there to be clarity that they could be kept at the high school on the grounds and the middle school on the grounds, and a third location at Perry Primary that's never had animals to include livestock of cattle and pigs, where the other properties did not hold livestock, or let me say, I'm gonna use the words that were used, cattle and pigs, but had goats and maybe other type of animals. So I believe that the main objection sounds like it's about the property that Perry Primary is, but the request originally was wanting clarification as to the ability of the schools, period, to have livestock in areas not zoned for it, or animals in places not zoned for it. And then a third area that has never had animals on it was included. And I think the council was trying to address everything sort of like broadly together. But the issue started out because of a complaint that the zoning was not being enforced as to the high school. And the request that seemed to rise the biggest uproar was the Perry Primary, which would be a third location that's never held any animals, and it would be particularly cattle and pigs, which is different than the animals that were being held at the high school and middle school. So the council has actually a multi-layered answer, or we're trying to to answer multi-layered questions. So in the past, they've been held in the high school itself and the middle school itself, like the bus shed that, Ms. Montgomery mentioned, as well as property by the tennis courts. And so the area with Perry Primary would be the area that would be most abutted with surrounding residents.
Does anybody got any problem with it going at the high school? Raise your hands. Anybody got a problem with it going at the middle school?
But I still have a question.
Go ahead, come on up to the podium.
I'm just asking some questions for
'Cause we can't hear you if you don't come up to the microphone.
Yeah, they should have the next question. But you can come up with questions.
Now, you know, my name is Mark Bishop. I don't live in that area, but I want to speak from experience. So if y'all allow those hogs, cows, goats, whatever out there, 38 years, we fought against people. No chickens, no goats, no hogs, no nothing in the city limit. I have got cussed out, threatened, because I had to go out, post that, get rid of horses and stuff in the city limit. Now we come back today and y'all negotiating about letting hogs, cows, goats come back into the city limits. So what are y'all planning on doing? Open the gate back up so everybody can have goats, chicken, all chicken and everything?
Oh, no.
That's all I want.
No. John, Mr. Clayton, I think this young man behind you in the red shirt. Go ahead.
My name is George Clayton, live at 1003 Spring Street. I have no problem with cows and goats, agriculture, but at the high school and middle school, fine. But I'm concerned because the present LDRs does not say it can happen.
All right.
And I feel bad for people calling me as a member of the planning and zoning board, and we don't know nothing about it. I thought we was a subcommittee of this board to handle a situation, but it sounds to me like you're trying to not keep us informed. Now, I got a call about a meeting, and it was not a time that was we couldn't get enough people together. And when I hear the way it's on the agenda, well, then you don't need us.
This would be a request to you.
This
This would be a request to y'all.
is gonna go through the planning and zoning board. It's just not ready to go yet. We're very much at the infancy of talking about this.
It's confused because when you call the city office, you get different answers.
This is the city discussing what application we want to submit to y'all. Y'all will still have to approve it, and then we'd have to approve it 2 more times.
I just want some clarity because when people are calling, they're getting different answers from the city. Not talking about you. I guess some people that don't know what, so it was confusing to me. That's why I'm here, okay?
But no, we
Got no
can't,
problem with the cows at the school,
yeah, we can't go around the planning and zoning board, Mr. Clayton. That's not, we're in the infancy of talking about this.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Billy Murphy, 614 Marvin Roberts Road. I'm not a stone throw out of the city limits, but I'm here representing Taylor County Farm Bureau, who is our county president, our board of directors. We appreciate the council's efforts trying to support the schools and the ag program. But we're concerned that this could get bogged down. These FFA programs, which we led the fight to get them in our county, we were one of only about 4 counties in the state that have FFA. And at that time, they're still in their infancy. We're concerned if this gets bogged down, they're going to go a whole year without the livestock component to their education. We're concerned about what's going to happen to these programs if they can't. That's pretty much the lifeblood of these programs. I've got a letter. I think John should have gotten a copy of it today from the Commissioner of Agriculture. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I would like to read the first couple of paragraphs. As it has come to my attention that the city of Perry is proposing that animals on school grounds should be eliminated or greatly restricted, citing an interpretation of local city ordinances restricting animals and livestock. Upon hearing this, our department conferred with the Florida Department of Education and the Executive Office of Governor Ron DeSantis and agreed that statute 1003.47 allows for animals, including livestock, on school property for educational purposes. Now, my suggestion would be that the council or your staff talks to the governor's office, talks to the Department of Education, them and FDAC are all in agreement that the school board has jurisdiction over this because it's part of their curriculum.
Can I get that statute number again? Cause I didn't get the letter.
It's 1003.47.
I may have got, okay.
What this is saying is, it's out of the city council's
Take
hands.
that back, I got it.
That is the opinion of the governor's office, the Department of Education, and the Department of Agriculture, and they have a 1970 Attorney General opinion that backs that up. So my suggestion to handle this quickly would be to get with them one-on-one, you know, where it's not other people going in and find out what the misunderstanding is, either on your end or on their end. You know, you may both be right or one may be wrong. We don't know which one. Don't all talk together.
What the misunderstanding is, it was suggested to everyone involved to go to the state and find out if there was some state statute that controlled this, which would override any city ordinance.
Well, then,
They chose not to. They chose to go this route, and here we sit.
well, the statute that I mentioned is the statute that the state
Right.
is using. And I know, you know, some on, I don't know just who it is on the city staff or council has a problem with seeing that statute as the way the state sees it. So I'm saying get together with them and iron those things out, and you may find out that you have no jurisdiction, or you may find out you need to proceed as the way you're doing. But if you found out you had none, it would speed the process up for these kids, to get these. And one thing on the Perry primary side, my understanding that the barn, the pole barn that's currently there is what they plan to use as a barn. If I'm not mistaken, it's much closer to Clark Street than it is Myrtle Street. And these animals will be in the barn and have one little area outside the barn to walk around with the train. They're not gonna fence the whole Old Perry primary on and have them walking all over that place. They're gonna be in the barns for the 4 or 5 months that they're there. They're not gonna be roaming that old piece of property.
Right.
They're gonna be inside of that barn. That barn will be kept clean by the students. The manure, the waste will be disposed of and through waste management. It won't be piled up out there. You know, that's part of their program is keeping those things clean and sanitary. So, you know, for us, Farm Bureau, agriculture, all of our food is produced by 2% of the population in this country. That means 98% of the people in the United States have no interest, have nothing to do with farming of any kind. But the 2% growing the food for 100% of us, that's scary. You know, the average age of a farmer is increasing every year. What that means is young people aren't going into farming. Regulations, hard times, whatever, you know, they're just not going in. Farming is changing. Technology is advancing in agriculture every day to make it much more competitive and safer. We feel like, you know, 3 generations ago, nearly 90% of people were involved in farming. Everybody grew up on a family farm. Everybody farms, just about. Now it's 2%. We've got adults today that believe their food comes from the grocery. Even people running for political office believe that the food comes from the grocery store. All these programs are trying to do is educate children where their food comes from. And hopefully entice some of them to want to go into that field, so that in a few years, they'll be the ones eating directly. And we would just like to encourage you to, do what we can. I understand the concerns. I think most of that will prove itself out. But the cleanliness and all we're getting to. And I do know that the high school, the reason they're not looking at putting all of it at the high school, they're in that area between the school and the tennis courts, the ROTC uses that area for training. That's what I meant, though. And there's really no other place on that campus. They are planning to put a small barn for, I think, the government, but there's not a place there to house pigs. Yeah. So I would just encourage you, get with the state and see what, just who is, what we need to do from there, and then it might make things a lot easier for everybody.
Thank you. Thanks. Has anybody researched this statute?
I have,
Well, let us know, please.
and
Where, do you have the statute in front of you?
yes, I do, but.
Can you read it to us what it says, or,
Oh, you want to, okay.
I mean, how long is it? Is it pretty long, or
It's pretty long.
can you
but
kind of highlight where you're going with it?
I can read you what I would consider, the most,
What applies to this?
I'm so sorry?
What applies to this, basically, is what I'm looking for.
Oh,
So it's probably got a lot of paragraphs on it.
If you just allow me, please,
Sure.
here,
Hold, can, wait just a minute.
no problem.
I don't think that none of us have a problem with statute of this program, anything. I think the biggest problem is coming from where they don't want it at the third location. So we're going in a circle.
Right, that's what I asked in the beginning.
So that is what it's all boiling down to. They don't want it at the third location.
Right.
Okay.
But I can read you the Florida statute, but I wanted, if I may, I wanted to note that one of the challenges here is that this is, and it started off with a request from a teacher and then a director of a program. The school board has a duly retained attorney. North Florida regional planning attorneys won't do a legal opinion on this, and they're unsure. We have not heard from the school board attorney as to what the law is interpreted. I greatly appreciate the FFA investment in trying to get an answer, and the commissioner of agriculture, one of them trying to talk to the governor's office, and nothing I've seen actually addressed. The question at hand is, does the statute of 1003.47, does it trump a local municipality's rights to govern its land development regulations and zoning? The Attorney General opinion that was discussed momentarily by Mr. Murphy was from 1970. Let me share you again the Attorney General opinion from 2004, that even the different land use attorneys that I've spoken to was the biggest thing that they were going to. We're all going to the same most recent Attorney General opinion that states, and in that particular opinion, there was a Hernando County School Board that did not want to comply with the local county land development regulations, and pointing to a statute that actually was the statute that governed public education buildings. And they were arguing, saying, we want to work with the county in that case. I'm just sharing just a little bit background information. I hope I'm not going anywhere. They wanted to basically say, we want to work with the county, but at the end of the day, we don't have to, because we have the statute. And the Attorney General opinion, which is typically where we go when there is a statutory interpretation question. Charlie Crist was the Attorney General at the time, his notation at the end of the day was no provision generally exempts school boards from the provision of the Local Government Comprehensive Planning and Land Development Regulation Act, sections 163.316 through 163.3217 Florida statutes. Rather, the legislature has made it clear that school districts and school boards are subject to local land development regulations enacted to implement local comprehensive land use planning and development. Therefore, it is my opinion that development on property owned by a district school board that is situated within the county must comply with the county's comprehensive land use plan adopted pursuant to the Florida Local Government Comprehensive Planning Act ordinances. And so there's nothing that I've been able to find that's right on point regarding an argument about livestock. But the goal of the legislature is for, except in extraordinary cases, I always say except for extraordinary cases, just because I don't see anything that says there can't be extraordinary cases, but that the goal is not for there not to be compliant with whatever that municipal's land regulations are. That's why I believe that you do have a failure of any other attorney writing any statement of a legal opinion that supports that this statute that he's being referring to, that talks about if you have animals, you gotta care for them. If you leave them there late at night or when the school is closed, you have to use reasonable care, is enough to say you don't have to abide by zoning laws. Statute 1003.47, it starts off with the title Biological Experiments on Living Subjects. It is the intent of the legislature with respect to biological experiments involving living subjects by students in grades K through 12 that, then it talks about stuff that's really not pertinent, like surgery on birds and frogs and stuff. Then it goes down to, I would say, the golden text, section H, that says live animals on the premises of public and private elementary, middle, and high schools shall be housed and cared for in a humane and safe manner. Animals shall not remain on the premises of any school during periods when such school is not in session unless adequate care is provided for such animals. Then it keeps talking about other provisions. It says, well, number 2 says the provision of this section shall not be construed to prohibit or constrain conventional instruction in the normal practice of animal husbandry or exhibition of any livestock in connection with any agricultural program or instruction of advanced students participating in advanced research, scientific studies, or projects. And then it talks about instructional employees that they basically can get in trouble for knowingly or intentionally complying with the provisions to take care of animals. And what Mr. Hart has said from the beginning when this first came up is that these provisions talk about the regulation of how the expectations for a school to take care of the animals they have on the property is not an authorization that would be so blanket to say that the place the school is in has no right to govern what is zoned in that area. So that's why Mr. Hart was like, well, we would have to amend the land development regulations, and we can use this as showing an exception, but there still would be up to the city to determine how that exception would go. And the language that I was familiar with talked about, for instance, if you have livestock, if you have cattle, you can't have but one per 1 acre. I think it was something like that. 1 acre for each animal. Sheep or goats, and this language is actually taken from other LDRs throughout the state that have allowed or placed any exception in it. So it doesn't say that you can't have it, but if you have a horse, a cattle, or swine, which is pigs and hogs, it is not one. And there's no exception here in this text or in what we saw that was based on something going to market or not. And I know that's a lot of the discussion that we've had, but that is like, if you're going to do it, this is the adjusted way. Also, Mr. Hart has said, you know, the council could do an amendment that only says how many feet from a dwelling Like in animals must be kept within an enclosed area which is a minimum of 200 feet away from any dwelling or adjoining parcel of land in separate ownership. So Mr. Murphy's suggestion, and even, the last meeting, the suggestion of getting together and trying to get language together to work, to present, I think is very helpful. I'm still waiting for the school board attorney or someone who understands why this conflict would exist between zoning expectations and this very broad regulatory statute that talks about if you have them at night or when school is closed, you should have them, but if you do, make sure they're adequate care, that there's someone who can literally look at this and say, is it sensible that on one end, we have statutes that allow for different things for schools to do, but they still have to comply with the local ordinances of building and the local ordinance of zoning. But yet in this case, when they say keep the animals there, or don't keep them on premises, but if you do adequate care for them, that alone is enough to just wipe out the community's responsibility to make sure that what they have and what they hold on their different zonings is in compliance. So that's why I feel so very strongly that that is a wrong interpretation, and not that any attorney's opinion is greater than any other, or that an attorney's opinion is greater than any non-attorney who's looking at it. But I believe the 2004 attorney opinion is way more credible and on point than something that happened in the 70s. And I'm still looking to see if there's anything else that's on there, whether it's the governor's office, because I just got this in the meeting. Even though I did get a heads up from an email response at 4:30. But it's still, there's no one just addressing or willing to put in writing that the school board does not have to comply with zoning laws because of the statute. No one's willing to do it. And I think the reason is because it's an incorrect interpretation of the law.
We're running around in circles, and the circles getting bigger and bigger.
Say it, Dad.
It is.
It
Sure is.
An attorney general's opinion, as you said, is got no more value than George Clayton, Walter Bishop, Charles. You most certainly did.
No, I did not. No, I'm sorry, I did not.
Well, then what?
I'm talking about an attorney general opinion of the statute is what's the normal.
That's exactly what I just said.
I was talking about any attorney. I'm not talking the AGO. That's a
You
particular,
said
that's a
attorney
particular
general.
law.
Anyhow,
Okay, I just want to be stated correct. That's the
Uh,
problem with the Supreme Court.
the attorney general has got no more, his opinion is just like yours or mine or Walter's or Charles. It's an opinion. The only way you settle that is go to court. Let me read some more of this letter to you. Now, this is coming from, and there's no reason to go and try to negotiate something with, the governor. He's already given you his opinion.
Was that from the governor's office? I'm sorry.
This is from Department of Agriculture. It says, upon hearing this, our department conferred with the Department of Education, Executive Office of Governor Ron DeSantis. And we gonna go back and we gonna try to talk about this that makes no sense. Keep reading that horse. It's going bigger and bigger.
Sir, this is not from the governor's office. I just want to make.
This
sure
is-
it's clear.
Upon hearing this, our department conferred with the Florida Department of Education. Department of Agriculture conferred with the Department of Education. Executive Office of Governor Ron DeSantis. Department of Agriculture conferred with the governor's office. And they agreed. Florida statute allows for animals. Although we agree the statute does not explicitly exempt schools from building ordinances, the statute requires appropriate care for animals outside of school hours. And here's what we lack. This is what we lack. Common sense. Common sense and reasonable interpretation of Florida law. would dictate that the school can construct appropriate facilities to care for animals that are required by statute. I believe the city should read the statute in the most favorable terms with common sense. We lack common sense because of the importance of agriculture. A little bit of common sense, and we would have been gone 40 minutes ago. We don't need to worry about what Charlie Chris said. We got something right here that says, and if your opinion is different from this, we wasted our money. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I
So
don't
the
think
sen-
anything personally, but I do a great job and you just read that statement.
I just
The
gave you my
statement
opinion,
here that
just like
says
the
that
Attorney
okay,
General's
returns to the
opinion.
school district. And
Thank
again,
God.
there's a reason why there's no attorney on the other side with a legal opinion saying different.
Do what?
It is reasonable that a city has power to control their, and to comply with planning and zoning, or why even have one?
This says that. You got to
I've asked that
listen.
question many times.
You got to listen. You're not listening.
I just disagree.
Although we agree the statute does not explicitly exempt schools from building ordinances. It says that, just like you said it.
Our ordinance prohibits livestock.
But
Our ordinance prohibits livestock. You don't have to.
the way it works, y'all, you're gonna learn sometime. You got a group of people, they got an opinion, they rule. And all of a sudden it goes up into an organization. They rule over that little group. The next thing that happens is the city. Well, the county overrules the city and Florida state overrules the county, and the federal government overrules us all. It's that simple. Why are we trying to, there's 3 locations we talked about it here. 2 locations, everybody's happy with. What on earth are we talking about the third one for? It's not our decision, it's a school board decision there.
That's correct.
I've been saying
And
this
I,
40
for
minutes.
one, am not about to, vote to waste the city of Perry's money to fight the governor's office.
No.
Not gonna happen.
I don't think one of us made a motion for that, did we?
There's nothing for us to do. It's,
Everybody's okay with the high school and the middle school. Is that correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the old Perry Primary everybody's got a problem with,
Right.
where there's not a schoolhouse anymore.
Right.
Okay.
And what I would say is go make it work.
Exactly. Is that reasonable? And can that work?
Said, I'm not trying to make it work. And we should propose that.
No, I understand, Mr. Montgomery. I'm just saying, well, okay, having it at the high school and having it at the middle school only, will that work? I'm asking for an answer.
Or not, I do know they got a grant to build, upgrade the farm. Very primary, so I'm not sure if they'd have enough money. To put that in one of the other locations, they'd have to start from scratch. I don't know.
We already got a concrete.
If it works or not, if they have deployed the money.
Can we find out if it can be made to work? Cause last meeting, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, the last meeting I asked everybody to get together and hash this out, and apparently it didn't happen.
We did.
I-
Yes,
They was one of the first responses I got.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, when you're trying to negotiate something, there's gotta be 2 parties involved. Is what it boils down to.
I think there's no standoff in a harsh term, but the standoff is one side believes that they don't even need the cities.
Mm.
As Councilmember Barnes articulated, the cities grant or go ahead for anything, and the other side was like, well, we would still need to amend the LDR so that even the high school and middle school would be in compliance. So through an exception of your land development regulation, so that citizens who complain, who've had goats taken and how horses, that is very clear. When citizens look at our LDR and development regulations, they understand what's allowed. And there are exceptions for education when it comes to it. So, I mean, we did talk. There was information.
Well, I agree with what Mr. Bryan is saying is right. You got the executive office of the governor.
We'll be like Bill Brown.
The,
This is the governor violating home rule.
well, it may be. Everyone may be, but I'm just saying you can step on that, but I mean, they could bury us some lawyers in a heartbeat. John,
If you're worried about being sued over something, you better hit the door now.
We don't need.
Don't think it happened.
Respectfully,
That is
there's
legal.
not even information to who gave that information.
That's
Well, it's just-
interpret it. How do you interpret the word prohibit?
well, let's just, we're getting bogged down again. Hold on. Let's just make it work. How do we make it work? That's all we're trying to do is get this program going for the kids, and it's getting bogged down by a bunch of stupid adults. That's just the way it is. I said it's getting bogged down by a bunch of stupid adults. I'm talking about me, myself. Because us adults are getting in the way of this thing happening. I didn't call you stupid. I was talking about myself. Some of our laws don't make any sense. They don't have any common sense. Yes, sir. Can I get your name, please?
For the third location, I don't see it being a problem because it's all in the same area, so I don't see what it would affect anything else. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's all in the same area, so I don't understand what the problem is.
They're saying that's too close to their houses.
Well, like Mr. Clayton, he lives closer to the middle school location than he would the Perry primary location, so that, I mean, they're all in the same, it's all in the same location.
I know.
We're talking about on the back side of the business, where people live.
That's what I'm saying, it's all in the same circle.
I'm talking about the thing about the foot.
Shed, but what I'm saying is it's all in the same.
Hold on, please. Please.
You got the wrong area.
It's all.
Everybody's had a chance to talk. Let them have a chance to talk.
Same location. From the high school to the Perry primary, that's what, 1,500 feet from where they're at now, maybe I mean, it ain't that far. It's all in the same location
Right.
from where they're trying to put.
But the
park.
problem seems to be that one piece of property.
Sir,
The problem seems to be that one piece of property.
yeah, I don't know how to get past that. I'm just saying, it's all right there.
Well, we'll need to find a way to get past that.
Like I said, the distance from the next residence, like we're trying to do, you about can't use that property. Set it enough where you can't use it and they gotta go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with them. I can't go right my front yard. I went at least 300 feet away here, 200 feet, whatever we come up with.
So how far is that road from where they're trying to put it at?
If you're 300 feet from any residence right around here, this circle is about the only place you can put a cat.
Is that even 1 acre?
I doubt it.
Well, they said they wanted to have a corral. And they said they're gonna keep these critters, but that's one critter in one barn. I mean,
There was 5 cows and.
The barn they're trying to use, you can't use.
Yeah, they all stay in a small pen.
Somebody, the law says only 1 cow per
Acre.
acre. It's not even an entire acre that they're setting aside. So this is a problem.
How many animals y'all talking about having?
Okay.
At that
Oh, but-
meeting.
2 hogs and 2 steers. If that, it depends on what children want.
I believe that
Actually,
actually
it's 2 hogs, 2 steers.
Yeah, it's not about the adults, it's about the kids.
And I think we're all in agreement with that.
My point exactly, and that's why we're bogging ourselves down again. This thing keeps bogging itself down. Let's just make it work.
Maybe just one, please. The issue is, we have agreement with the educational. If we reduce that, I don't call it, we just don't want to go out like that. Now, since you go to the Apple, at the high school and the middle school. And people, I didn't go back every day, I didn't see this. But I can't go by her right there and not go there, that's my problem. So if you just take that site off the, I wouldn't do this year because you got the foundation on it. No, that's no exception, but why don't we just go, why don't we put a foundation or something else?
It's gonna put that in. We
Why
don't have.
why don't we do it?
No problem. Yeah, we can raise it.
All right, if anybody else want to speak on this? If anybody else speak on this, please come forward.
Has the school district ever told us exactly where in the high school they want it?
I don't know, I haven't been shown anything. Have you been shown anything, John?
Put it in something, come on.
But that's the, I mean, I thought they were supposed to get back to us 2 weeks ago about that.
I thought so too.
That was that, and they had mentioned wherever they were holding goats that sort of escaped over under the river. They were attacked by dogs, and that was in an area behind the tennis courts towards the tree line. I believe closer to the tree line, but they did not come back with the map.
We have enough land there to be 200 foot off like you mentioned.
Get what you get. What first?
Where the folks were, when you were.
Where were they located?
I understood they were by the tree line. I know that's a pretty expansive. But I understood it was somewhere regarding the tree lines over past where you were before, John.
Here.
I don't know exactly where, but
Back up, top, and back over to the, where.
They're kind of right there, right there.
That's where they had our animals at, the pigs and the goats, and that's it.
Right here.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
they're right there. Oh, okay.
I mean, y'all's property.
I just heard them say tree line and.
She knows.
All right. Can we find, is there any way to find out if just those, if we just took Perry, the old Perry primary property off the table, would it work? Does anybody know? Can we get with some people that know?
We don't have people at school.
John, have you talked to the school board president?
I've emailed several times and gave them several suggestions of what we need to do to get this fixed, but like she mentioned, this whole time they've been told that they're above the law. Still have to follow the LDRs.
Well, okay, what if we approach it from a different angle? And from the angle that all these people are here about, and that is it's close to residences.
We go back, what we opened up with, what I was trying to do is to text amendment to the LDR. If we change our law to make it work for everybody. And to me, that's the distance from the nearest residence. I think that would make everybody happy. I don't know what that distance is we want to submit, but I'm with you. I don't want a cow right in my front yard either, but if it's offset enough.
No, I don't
they're
either.
Closed 200 feet, 300 feet, I don't know what the number is. That's the way to make it work for everyone.
Did you rent about church?
But what about, they mentioned an alternate location, down behind the alternate school, back in there.
I never reached out to know where that is.
Behind the admin building.
The old junior high.
That's from the cemetery.
Here,
District needs to get involved.
They do and stop running.
That's what I'm saying is they are the ones that.
Yeah, they said they have anything to do with it. Mhm.
I guess the big question, I guess the biggest question we have right now is to find out if this will work for the schools.
That would be your box.
basically taking the old Perry Primary off the table.
That'd be your box up the rock. Something like that.
What I understand, they say it won't work without another location, that there's not enough room in the high school. Now, I'm not involved with all of that measurement and all of that, it's what the activity told me.
I understand what you're saying, but the second location would be the middle school, wouldn't it?
Now, it's the middle school.
Mhm.
It wouldn't work for why, Bill?
From what I understand, there's not enough room at the high school that's it's not already committed for other activities,
Right.
for them to build a barn big enough to handle.
Yeah, I understand that, but there, like they said, there are other properties out there that they could use that are close enough to the high school that the kids can walk down there and take care of their animals. But they're not adjacent to residential areas.
And we have to have places to plug the electricity, and them animals have to have heat, they have to have water, it's just, they have to have electricity and running water at all times.
Sounds like those other sites are able to provide that because it's on school
They
property.
have to have electricity, especially the hogs in the winter time.
So y'all use city water for that, or y'all use wells?
We can use whatever type of water and whatever electricity we get. That's the main two things we have to have is electricity and water.
Understand? Yes, ma'am. Could you,
With the show cow, we use a filter, that way all water tastes the same. So you can use city water or you can use well water, and it's still filtered out. So it tastes the same as the towel water. Don't drink it.
I'm thinking of the property east of the Bulldog store. If you know where that is. It may not be suitable, but that's what I'm thinking.
Where's that?
The property east of the Bulldog store.
In front of the middle school?
Yes, yes. The parking lot, beyond the parking lot.
I got you.
So, it's all but it's wrong.
Is that even closer to the houses though?
Not on that end.
Nope.
Not on that end.
What's your take?
Yeah, and you can be, again, 300 feet in.
You're right. And you could-
Y'all just need to get with the school board, is what you need to do. Because, and explain the situation to them, and they can come up with an alternative property. Okay? Is that
Yeah.
okay with everybody?
yeah, see if they can do that, see if they can do that, see if they can do that, the primary, old primary school property, see if they can deal with that.
You still have to change the LDR.
I understand that.
But have authority to violate the LDR. We gotta
No.
change the law.
No, we're just trying to find out.
That's why we need to set up parameters. They gotta figure out what property works for them. Come to us, let's just set the parameters.
Right.
Are you gonna wait home with it?
They're not involved yet, so what can we do?
Billy, can you put some light on that with the school board and get them to move
One
and to
email,
consider another location,
one email I got today from the teacher said the 200 foot would work.
200? Okay, and we're saying 300,
200, 300 we have.
right, all the way around where it is now. But,
I'll talk to them and see what.
thank you. They need to get the ball rolling, and we can't, we're getting too much flack where it is, so.
I want to go ahead and roll it now, so they can talk about it at the planning zone or whatever, the other one. So.
More adjustments.
If they come back and want to change it there, they can change it there. We need to get the ball rolling with the LDR.
The text amendment.
Well, I agree.
So we can say it, they can change it at the Board of Adjustments.
So what you need from us, John?
You're making an assumption. You're making an assumption that's gonna pass.
I'm not, it's gonna be.
Yes, you are.
I think that's,
You're not taking a common sense way about this and follow what the governor says.
governor. I'm like Bill Brown, the governor is violating home rule.
The governor is given, his attorney is given an opinion.
That's not what the attorney, that's what the commissioner back.
I don't know.
It comes from the attorney all.
What, the simpler way would be to ask for the attorney general and form here to do it.
And I thought Hope had already done it. I mean, I thought somebody had already done it.
Not the attorney general.
Well, how about we start with asking the school board to find another location?
School board, it's not our problem. It's their
It is our problem.
School problem. It's just, we're making it our problem. It's a school board's problem.
I agree. But that's what I said. How about we ask them
That's,
to take the reins here and find another location?
See if they can just see if they make this thing work without the old Perry primary. If there's any way possible.
it's not our, it's not our issue.
Could you recommend the usage as it is now? And as the young man said, we're gonna go cut their primary site out and understand. It's our community that we're concerned with.
Then y'all need to go to the school board.
We're going.
Okay, okay.
If you all would recommend that they don't use that site, it would help us.
Well, we've worked with them and set up the parameters that they, beyond what they suggested. They suggested 200 feet and we set it up at 300 feet. And
Excuse me, the problem isn't that, the problem is the site of it in the community every day. I gotta go back there every day.
can't do anything about that.
The city should be rejecting this now. Well, conflict of interest, but we put animals back in the city limits. So what about all these people with chickens and stuff? That y'all was talking, letting them get back in it too.
Oh, they still got them in my neighborhood.
And to build them.
They don't propose.
It's not gonna do it. If you're gonna allow them how folks and stuff in the city limits, you might as well pick up the thing and let everybody come back and farm in the city limits.
But that was only educational.
Right, that ain't got something to do with it.
Well, that's what the.
That's what the LDR Texas is looking for, is just schools, not everybody.
That's the case. That you know, raise chickens, pick up eggs and stuff, man. What's the better? That's education that he's up, at their house.
That's why we're setting some setback rules on it too. Make it where you can just do it at schools. You can't do it just wherever you wanna do it. That's what we're.
No, that's all right. We're gonna come back to lunch.
What's the plan?
Anything good.
What's the plan for the council tonight?
We're not gonna make a plan tonight.
Well, why we?
Let's make-
all this time?
No, you found out that y'all need to go to the school board.
There you go. Well, you think, the information we got with y'all will pass tonight at city council.
No, we can't pass it. No.
Bypass the zoning board, the board of adjustment and
Oh,
all.
No, sir, no, sir, we can't do that.
That's the main deal, right?
We
No.
cannot do that,
Tonight was just the very beginning of it. We can't go around the dance.
But everybody,
This person, that person, they say, oh, no, they gonna do this today, they gonna do this tonight, tomorrow, we can be up there.
Yes, sir.
We can't do an ordinance that
but
bad.
it needs to move forward quickly or they're gonna lose their grant.
Our information was that is gonna be approved tonight.
Billy, do you know when they're is there a deadline on this grant? They have to have it used by?
Yeah, oh, I don't know, use it.
You find that out too? Sir? Come on, yo.
The timing of social security is crucial. There's a grant that is time limited.
Well, there's $100,000 grant I've heard about, and I saw it referenced in
It's
this letter.
time limited.
Yeah, time limit. I don't know what the time limit is on it.
I don't either. But schools start soon and they need to be able to put their program into place.
Yes.
And I think one issue that may be with the state is that you deny animals on school grounds. It's like denying the classrooms of technical, because the animals are part of the curriculum.
Part of the education,
So there's-
yeah.
I think that may be part of the issue, that part of the curriculum, which the council can't take away from. I'm saying what I think, not what, that's why I suggest, trying to get together with them, and see just what the issue is. How to fix it. Whether a new side, another side will work it out. I know the issue they have is they want to be able to busting up the wall.
Yep.
It's not busting options, it's not nothing for that kind of thing, so. They need to be able to walk there within a period during the day and be able to get back for their next class.
John, not cutting you off. As the way that our LER is wrote right now, it's in violation for them to even start on the primary property.
Livestock is prohibited.
Huh?
Livestock is prohibited.
Okay. So, in other words, why are we even discussing this? Because it's out of, in our ordinances, it can't happen. Now, I'm all for the program, but if we're saying that we're gonna keep it, our ordinance at that, in that area as it is, why are we even discussing this?
Discussion was to change the ordinance.
Well, when you
Change the LDR.
But when you change the LDR, that's when you're gonna open that property up for that to happen, isn't it? So that's what they're saying, they don't even want that property to even be in discussion.
School related
But even the high school and the middle school could be incorporated.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So either way,
Yeah, I'm saying we redo that part, but I'm saying if that part, as far as the primary area, if it's already an ordinance saying that we don't need to be redoing anything, why are we even going that route if they don't even want it over there? It's not school, that's school property, but we don't have a active school there right now. So that's what I'm asking, so.
originally it was just the idea if we even have the authority, so I don't want to intervene.
I got you.
What about everybody, did everybody get a notice over that this is what been taking place?
Nothing's been filed yet.
And I usually don't speak, but I do deal with them a little bit. Letters will be sent once it gets to that step, and that's through the Board of Adjustments. And then she will send letters to the property owners within so many feet of that meeting. And like they said, then you still have the Board of Adjustment meeting. I don't even know, they may have another meeting. I'm not sure. Then it goes back to the council. But they will send letters, Walter.
Oh, I know it's gonna be a while.
We're just nowhere near it. We're not, that ain't my department, but I do know that she does that. And that's how it works. The letters will be sent out. It just hasn't gotten that.
There we go.
Yeah, we are. Tell you what, just find out if y'all would go to the school board, find out what will work, if they can do without the primary property. And we'll just go from there.
May I ask you a question? When does the school board meet?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Same night we do.
Same night y'all do?
No. That started at 6, didn't it?
They have.
Head on over there.
Yeah, I'll still be there.
Did they start the program in the county for this year? Did we get it going?
I mean, they could make double periods and shuttle them over the bus.
They're already
They
doing
just
that.
said, you know, money's the issue.
Well, but the money's not.
Like I said, some of these laws we get bogged down in, but. All right, so you're gonna go back to schools then and find out if this will work, and we can go from there. We gotta get something put together. Sooner we can get it done, the sooner we can get it passed. So, all right.
Mayor Ketchum,
Yes, ma'am.
This could be easily accepted or rejected. Would there be any benefit of having, a specially set or requesting that the school board and the city council have a joint session. So that I know time is of the essence, and I know it's like we're volleying back and forth. Sometimes the representative from the agriculture program is here or not here, and different people who may have different interests. Would that assist, because of the need of having a decision and then moving forward with the proposals? Would that be, I know we don't always or have done that in years, but is that something that at least you all can consider in the future, if that would be helpful?
I'm okay with that. I mean, we can set a date and,
So you all are taking
All
all
right.
the arrows.
I'm fine with that, but I mean, we got to have, like I said, you gotta have two people, two entities, two whatever to negotiate anything.
Just
I
something to
mean,
consider.
us saying this and then later finding out that's not gonna work and we just need to, yeah. The time is of the essence, then we, yeah, it'd be a good idea, yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion that we request an attorney general's opinion on this issue. Apparently, the governor's office and the Department of Education opinion is no good. I'm requesting that we get an attorney general's opinion.
Have a second?
I'll be glad to find out that process.
Okay,
Well,
I'll be,
you write a letter to them and ask them a question. But there's nobody else wants to do that now.
He's the only one that said it.
They want to run around in this big circle.
I think we can settle it without that.
is there a second on this motion?
didn't have one.
Motion. It's a motion. Anyone seconding it?
I know.
There you go.
Let's proceed like we said and meet maybe with the school board if we can set that up.
If they wanna meet, that's great. I mean, we could hash this out in just a few minutes, I believe.
Instead of taking all the arrows yourselves.
Amen.
All right, we're gonna pick this up at a later date, soon, I hope.
John, can you set a date with him, maybe next week? Okay.
All right. Agenda item 6G, council to discuss fire department's grant for wildland gear and PPE, washer and dryer, and take any action deemed necessary. You got a grant here?
So I got the grant.
Yeah.
Got a copy of it.
Yeah, we got it.
Gas lines.
It can be either one. We haven't, we just got the money for it, we haven't actually picked out.
The city doesn't sell electricity.
We can get gas.
City
That
sells
that would be
gas.
no problem.
Do we have to take any action on this, or you just inform us you got it?
Probably go through it.
Okay.
It's 3,500, so matching funds, it'll be another 3,500 for paying the company to put the grant together. It'll be about $7,000, we'll pay for.
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
So,
Who second? Councilman Vaughn.
Yes.
Councilman Woodhull.
yes.
Vice Mayor Lance.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick.
Yes. Agenda item 6H, council to discuss easement for Duke Energy's EV charging station behind the courthouse. 110 North Jefferson Street, parcel number 03830-000, and take any action deemed necessary. Is that the ones that are already there?
Mhm.
Everything like everything else, you're not dealing with the money, you're not paying us, we're not paying them, but they need an easement to do all the electrical work on our property. That's all that is.
Is it up for renewal or something, or?
No, it's just an easement from when I last brought it to you.
Yeah.
That they have paid, we haven't paid any bills on this for half a year or better. And, so now they're just upgrading it to all the fast chargers. They're to yank all the old stuff out and make all fast chargers, from what I understand. But it's our property, the lot.
Right.
They need the easement
I just, they don't have an easement right now. They need one.
because it's our parking lot. But everything else, there is theirs.
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 How are they doing it then if they don't have an easement or anything?
Well,
How are they?
it was originally, it was a grant by Duke Energy or something like that. That's how, it had to be on city property. And then we got the grant monies, but it wasn't even breaking even. It wouldn't. So I did spreadsheets and I made them true it up all the time. I said, look. And then they extended it. So that's why when it came up to us, no, we don't want to involve this anymore. They weren't allowing us to make any money on it. So why do we want to play along?
So we said they just need, they're asking us for an easement.
Just an easement, which is fine
From-
because it does bring people into our downtown area. And while their cars are charging, they can get lunch and walk around. So it's in my opinion.
Just need a,
It's just an easement to, cut and paste in our parking lot.
Could we need a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball?
Yes.
Councilmember Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Catching?
yes, agenda item 6I, council to appoint 2 citizens to serve on the Perry Police Pension Board of Trustees to take any actions deemed necessary. Do we have anyone that even step forward to want to do it?
Didn't one of them
Talk to people and I have. Step ahead, one phone call.
It's Board of Adjustment, just that.
Oh, okay.
And the application they have, what's in?
What is the, oh, this is for Board of Adjust Planning and Zoning.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's no good.
Not for this one, it isn't.
Y'all gotta ask your friends, relatives now to sign up for this.
The problem is I have to,
I've talked with a couple people and they're worried about that financial.
that's
disclosure.
right, that's right.
Oh,
That's the reason they're concerned about that.
Yep.
Form 1 is not a big deal. It's not.
that change?
It's just a Form 1 for.
Oh,
for the incident.
It is the simpler form.
Yeah, that's a simple form.
People don't want other people to do business.
That's right. Why should they have to?
So we're just still looking for 2 people for that. Okay, agenda item 6J, council to appoint 1 citizen to the Planning and Zoning Board and Board of Adjustments to take any action deemed necessary.
Motion to approve by Diana before she changes her mind.
Second.
Second, oh, you got a second?
Second thought. Is that, I don't want to be stepping on any.
Go ahead.
Diana Turner,
No, this one.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause she's off in 12.
Judson Drive.
Yeah.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball?
Yes.
Councilmember Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Catching?
Yes. Council to agenda item 6K, council to discuss proposed millage rate for the city of Perry for fiscal year 2024, 2025, and take any action deemed necessary.
So for this meeting, we just need some guidance on what millage rate the council advertised in the trip notice. And so your options are on the screen. You have the prior year millage rate, which is 5.9431, and that is the same millage rate as last year, and it would bring in 2,117,939. And that is about 39,000 more than what we brought in this year. You could choose the current year rollback rate, which is 5.8336, and it is the millage rate that would bring in the same amount of taxes as last year, which would be $2,078,917. Or you could do the maximum millage rate, but you have to have a majority vote, and it's 6.5966, and it's the maximum millage rate. It would bring in $2,350,827, and that's about $233,000 more than we brought in